I do speak with a lot of experts in influencers in automation field in particular, and I can time how fast we go from technology to humans and empathy. You mentioned the E word just, in a few sentences. This is fabulous because we used to think of automation of replacing, right? Automation meaning that machines are better than we are. So as a technologist, as a business leader, could you please speak a little bit how empathy is going to play bigger and bigger part in automation initiatives, in intelligent automation, where human become little more intelligent and machine become intelligent with those humans?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it is a massive talking point at the moment. And you're right, when automation and AI really started coming through and businesses and organizations were adopting the technology, there was always a bit of a worry of, are robots going to take our jobs? But in fact, it actually enhances a lot of what people are doing nowadays. To have a piece of technology or some automation or some AI really enhancing your day-to-day job, allowing you to focus on things that you can do better or things that require that human element. It just improves the overall working life of someone who's been doing the more mundane tasks that they never really wanted to do anyway. And in doing so, that empathy part when dealing with either customers or internal stakeholders, it really helps the business overall, not just from a customer's perspective, but also, like I said, from employees as well, being able to engage in that way and really have those meaningful conversations and have perhaps a much greater impact on the business day to day and not having to worry about the other tasks that, the AI and automation is doing. And I think it's going to be a big thing moving forward. I think clearly the AI can do a great job. Humans can do a great job as well, but if it can do a great job in the parts that you're not so interested in and you can focus on the parts that you really want, that's where that empathy really comes in. And I think where a lot of the value add comes in for a lot of these technologies as well. I think a lot of businesses think of purely the impact of the technology, of what it can have, whether it's ROI or other satisfaction, whereas they don't always tend to measure the other impact that it has on the workers and the employees that are actually dealing with this day to day as well, which is probably a big thing that a lot of businesses are really starting to take into account now.
Makes sense. Make total sense, Harrison. Absolutely. And you also comment on the natural extension of digital transformation. We're talking about intelligent automation. Don't you see this as a continuation to digital transformation minds, at least, thinking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think digital transformation still needs to be used as a term, because I don't think it just stops with the older digital transformation that we saw in previous years, whether it's through ERP or BI technologies that were, integrated years ago. I think it's just a continuation of continual transformation for that organization, and everything moving forward is clearly digital. So I think it does really encompass intelligent automation. It encompasses AI and machine learning. And again, like those terms, it is almost like an umbrella term to encompass all of those initiatives that organizations are embarking on and the things that they're looking to achieve.
Beautiful. Sounds simple. And yet, of course, so many organizations struggle to begin the initiative, struggle to progress the initiative and demonstrate the successes to stakeholders, to business users and to customers, and to finish those initiatives. That's even more challenging. Can you walk us through some of the wisdom points, something that you find very useful and hopefully our audience will too?
Yeah, I think because being a recruiter in the space and running a recruitment business, we have quite a unique viewpoint on these programs of work, and when these businesses embark on these large digital transformation journeys. And for us, and a lot of the time, and for a lot of the businesses we work with and the people that we speak to, it always comes back down to the people that are involved. So, setting out, a strategy from the outset and looking at the technologies that you're wanting to implement is great, but, how are you going to deliver that? And how does that impact the current people that you have working within your business? But also, what does that look like for the experts that you need to bring into the organization to make sure it works? I think a lot of the time businesses go out with an idea and say, oh, we want to implement RPA. Let's go and do that. And they don't actually always think about, how that needs to be done and what the team needs to look like, how they're going to set it up and run that. And then also the impact beyond that as well, in terms of, continually running it and monitoring it and making sure it's successful, because you can do a pilot, you can do a POC or a POV, and it can work well, but those next stages beyond that to make sure it's successful and truly scale it across the business are where a lot of people are struggling. And it does come down to the people that they have as part of the business to ensure that that succeeds, you know, having a buy-in from the top down, having those stakeholders, but also having people from the ground up having a buy-in to, you know, what the business is doing as well is also, you know, really just as important.